So you're thinking of buying or selling in a Tampa luxury condo community? In this video, I am going to share the pros and the cons, the good and the bad of living in the Westshore Marina District in South Tampa. Also, towards the end of the video, I will share some lesser known information about the district that will also help you determine if this neighborhood would be a good fit for your lifestyle. Let's get started. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about buying or selling in a Tampa luxury condo community, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the Tampa luxury condo market and lifestyle. My name is Nathaniel Ligon, the Tampa Condo King. I specialize in representing luxury condo owners and buyers in Tampa, Florida. I get calls every day from people just like you. So whether you're looking to buy or sell in 10 days or 10 weeks, please reach out as all my contact information is in the description box below. I would love to help you win in the Tampa luxury condo market. Now let's take a closer look at the pros and the cons of living in the Westshore Marina District in South Tampa. First pro we will start off with, speaking of the Westshore Marina District, is the fact that it is a newer waterfront community in South Tampa. So if we break that down, that's really like three pros in one. So newer certainly has its own benefits that we'll talk about more in a second. Also, being waterfront is very highly desirable among potential residents and current residents, and fairly unique for Tampa, especially South Tampa. And then lastly, it is in South Tampa, so you may or may not know, depending on how familiar you are with the area, that South Tampa is one of the most highly desirable neighborhoods in all of Tampa and really all of the Tampa Bay region. So those three things really kick us off here with why the Westshore Marina District is such a highly sought after and really exciting community to be in. So just walking around the district, you'll really find that there's a great mix of the whole waterfront vibe and waterfront living, whereas you still have so much new construction with newer residences, different property styles and property types. And then really in the heart of the district is the landings, which has all the newer shops and restaurants. So as you're walking through the community or driving through, you certainly see all the green space and all the sidewalks and walking paths available for residents to really be active. The grounds are kept up really, really well, and there's just nothing like that new feel and that new community. So you'll definitely be able to tell pretty early on that it's newer and, great landscaping. Everything's kept up really well, and it's just got a great, fresh, contemporary feel. So those three things are really highly desirable. And if you're thinking, well, South Tampa, isn't that Bayshore Boulevard? And so that is on the opposite side of South Tampa. We're talking about the Westshore Marina District, which is on the western portion of South Tampa. So that's looking out to Old Tampa Bay. So you get the beautiful water views, the bay views. But the biggest difference from Bayshore Boulevard, which is on the eastern side of South Tampa, Bayshore, you're still getting amazing views and so much to offer. But on the west side, the Westshore side and the Westshore Marina District, you're also getting the boating aspect. So we'll cover this in a little bit more detail here shortly. But the marina is right there, and just all the opportunities to enjoy water activities and boating is a huge benefit for the community. So all three of those things, newer, waterfront, and in South Tampa, make it one of the most highly desirable communities in all of Tampa and all of Tampa Bay. The next pro that we'll discuss living in the Westshore Marina District is the amenities. So I touched on it in the overview of it being a newer waterfront community in South Tampa. The amenities are excellent. So you're going to have, again, the hub, the landings area, which has some great restaurants, great shops. You've got a ton of walking trails throughout the district. Also some great waterfront restaurants like Hula Bay and Salt Shack, for example, are all very close by, and just the landscaping is so well kept, and you just get a great feel and a great vibe being in a newer community, not as built out as some other desirable communities throughout Tampa, but there's still more than enough in terms of just the overall amenities throughout the community. And then again, you mix in the whole water aspect, the marina, the boating. There really is a ton of amenities for residents of the district to enjoy. Now, if we dig a little bit deeper into some of the featured neighborhoods in the district, I go over these a little bit more in my neighborhood vlog, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already after this video. So two in particular, Westshore Yacht Club and Marina Point. So those are two of the biggest and most highly sought after communities within the Westshore Marina District, and they have their own set of very impressive amenities. So we could do a whole separate video on just the amenities between those two communities. So it's tremendous when you consider the pools and the fitness center and the amazing bay views, and even some of the communities within those communities having their own set of amenities with the grills and the cabanas and movie theater and you name it. So really there's a ton of amenities depending on exactly where in the district you call home. So again, those are two of the biggest communities that come to mind and that are very highly desirable in the district. So Westshore Yacht Club as well, you've got access to the tiki bar and more casual dining and more formal dining. So I mean, you just have so much within these communities. And then again, if you're in a community outside of those two that I mentioned, if you're still somewhere within the Marina District, then you're going to be very close by to, like I mentioned, all the green space and all the restaurants and all the shops and just that water inspired living. So if you want all the amenities of a great condo community and you want something that's newer, something that's waterfront, this is really going to be an excellent place for it. And also, if you still want the lower maintenance type of living, the condo living, and you want to be engulfed in that type of lifestyle, but maybe you don't necessarily want to be in the center of an urban area like a downtown Tampa or something along those lines, you still want access to waterfront and boating and green space and just a different feel, I think you could find the Westshore Marina District really to be a great option to achieve a lot of those goals, but still maintain, some privacy and some green space and not necessarily being in the hustle and bustle of a main city center like a downtown Tampa, for example. Now, with all of the great amenities comes the first con of this video on the Westshore Marina District, and that is the high HOA fees. So in some of these communities, for example, Westshore Yacht Club and Marina Point, Westshore Yacht Club, by the way, speaking of amenities, is also gated, 24/7 gated, so very exclusive, very secure. So both of those communities, Marina Point and Westshore Yacht Club, for example, you're going to spend somewhere right now, the HOAs are roughly in the low 2000s per month. So that is going to be higher than some of the other areas. Again, you're getting the newer, the waterfront, and being in South Tampa. Residents that I speak to that are there and that have been there for years say, really you get what you pay for. Westshore Yacht Club in particular, I was just speaking with a resident yesterday about this, and he and his wife have been there really since the start of the first phase of completion back in about 06, 07. They've been there for 17 years or so, and they love the amenities. They love what's going on. They love the landscaping there. They love all the newer amenities. They love being in a newer condo as well. So that all comes with a price. When you have so many amenities, naturally it's going to reflect in the cost. It just depends on your situation and your lifestyle. If maybe you want a little bit of a scaled back version of those amenities and you don't think maybe it's worth it, or that you'll utilize all the amenities that some of these communities have to offer, then let me know and we can certainly look at some other options that maybe help you achieve a similar lifestyle, but maybe just not as high in the HOA fees. One of the good things though about these communities is that, again, it is newer. So even though the monthly fees are a little bit higher typically those buildings and communities are going to require less big projects and big maintenance because they are newer. So you might be in a community that's a little bit older and maybe the HOA fees aren't as high, but then you're going to have a higher risk of a big assessment coming up where there's maybe structural issues that need to be handled, and now all of a sudden your HOA jumps a ton, or you just get hit with a big special assessment. So just something to consider. Being in a newer community certainly has its advantages. If you're thinking about just cost of HOA, then again, we can certainly look at some other options. But I think ultimately you get what you pay for. The amenities certainly speak for themselves, and it'll be up to you to decide if that is worth it for you. And I look forward to discussing that with you further to see what is a good fit. But definitely good to know that the HOAs tend to be a little bit higher. Again, as I mentioned, Westshore Yacht Club and Marina Point, right now those fees are averaging about the low 2000s per month. All right, so back on the pro side for the Westshore Marina District is the newer home options and the brand new construction options available. So very exciting for a community like this to be so new. Phases have taken place, of course, in this community to build it out. Westshore Yacht Club, for example, was phased between about 2006 to 2016. And then Marina Point, for example, was just built in 2023. Now, both of those communities also have brand new residences going up as well. Construction is ongoing for those. So if you want an existing option, then there are certainly options available for that. If you want to elevate your lifestyle and go with a brand new construction and you are willing to maybe wait a couple years for those to be built out, within Westshore Yacht Club, the last remaining parcel is currently being worked on, and the Aqua Tower is going up. That'll be completed estimated 2026, so we'll keep tabs on that construction process and see how the timeline evolves. But again, just within Westshore Yacht Club, for example, you've got all the home options ranging from really 2006 to about 2016, but then you still have all the new construction options that are coming up still with this Aqua Tower. So definitely great to have a mix of both, and none of them, relatively speaking, are very old when you look back at even the early buildings being in 2006. So then Marina Point, as I mentioned, just had Tower 1 completed in 2023. So that is brand new. There are some resales that have sold. So there's been a decent amount of activity so far in that community. And then Tower 2 is going up as well on site as we speak. Similar estimated completion date to the Aqua Tower in the Westshore Yacht Club. So somewhere around 2026. Again, we'll keep tabs on the construction process. And by the way, both are offering some buyer incentives. So if you have any questions on those new construction options, then certainly let me know. There could be some deals and incentives, and definitely some information that I'll want to make sure you're equipped with and that I can help you with before you potentially make a move or consider one of those buildings. So I think it's great for a community with as much that the Westshore Marina District has to offer when you've got some newer construction options and also still brand new construction options going up. It's really a nice mix for buyers to decide if they want to go with something that's existing or if they're willing to wait a little bit for the brand new residences to go up. So I already mentioned all the amenities. The new condo residences will also have their own slew of amenities too. So it's just really exciting to see how much the lifestyle and the options throughout Tampa and some of these areas that I specialize in continue to come up with. So I definitely think a pro for buyers to have the newer community overall, also all the new construction options. And you can tell as you're walking through or driving through the neighborhood that it's really nicely kept up with, and there's definitely a lot of benefits to having those newer options available. In line with the Westshore Marina District being a newer community and the ongoing construction, that's going to bring me to the second con for the Westshore Marina District, which is the ongoing construction and potential changes or increase in traffic moving forward. So I don't think residents have too much of an issue with it right now, but I think based on some that I've spoken with, and I would tend to agree with them, is just moving forward, it'll be interesting to see how the traffic evolves in that area, because again, it is a little bit of a quieter area than, for example, downtown Tampa or even Harbor Island. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens though as these new residences are completed, and just to see what changes there are to the traffic patterns. Right now, I mean, really Westshore Boulevard, if you go south of Gandy Boulevard, which is really where the Westshore Marina District is, there's pretty much just one lane north, one lane south. So again, we'll see. I know these developers in the city are very used to construction and taking on these big projects. I'm sure that's something they're accounting for if new road patterns or traffic patterns need to be created, or another light somewhere on Westshore Boulevard. We'll see. But I think it's just important to note that yes, you're getting something newer being in the Westshore Marina District, but the flip side of that is there is still growth and the construction will continue. So if you really don't want to see construction around you or hear construction around you, then we may need to look at some other options for you and let you decide if it's worth being there for that, or if you want to kind of wait till things settle down and things are completed. So that's just a preference for you and a decision for you to make. I've seen it from both sides with buyers. Some don't mind being somewhere where there is still construction and growth. I mean, it's not like there's barely any footprint in this district and all of a sudden it's going to be completely transformed. We're talking about a few, like in Westshore Yacht Club, for example, this is really the last remaining parcel. And then when you look at Marina Point, they just had Tower 1 completed last year. They've got Tower 2 going up. So, I mean, you could pretty much see what's going on. You could see all the infrastructure already there, all the residents available, the restaurants, the shops, etc. So I think you kind of can get a pretty good feel for what you're going to get. It's just a matter of if you are still willing to live somewhere where there is going to be some ongoing traffic and construction going on. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Should be interesting, but definitely something I wanted to mention, just the nature of being in an area where there's new construction, that there could be some increases with the traffic and there's still some of a footprint left to be finalized in the community. The last pro I'll finish out this video with for living in the Westshore Marina District in South Tampa is the location. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that this area is on the southwest portion of South Tampa. So if you go all the way to the east of South Tampa, you're going to run into the iconic Bayshore Boulevard, and that's certainly a very popular part of South Tampa. And the West Shore side isn't quite as popular, I'd say, but with all the growth of the Westshore Marina District, I think it'll continue to gain traction. And again, it's just south of Gandy Boulevard, so it's only about 6 or so miles from downtown Tampa, but it's also only about 10 miles away from St. Petersburg. So Gandy Boulevard and the Gandy Bridge is one of the 3 main bridges that go from Tampa into Pinellas County, so like into St. Petersburg, Clearwater, etc. So by being in the Westshore Marina District, you're very close to getting on the Gandy Boulevard and getting right over into St. Petersburg. If you're maybe working in St. Petersburg, but you want to still live in Tampa, then that could be an option for you, just depending on what your tolerance is for a drive. But it's certainly more manageable than if you were in some of the other areas of South Tampa or downtown Tampa or Davis Islands, Harbor Island. This is pretty much a straight shot over the Gandy Bridge into St. Petersburg. So with your lifestyle, if you have a lot of activities that you like to do over in St. Petersburg or over in Pinellas County, or maybe you have family and friends there that you think you'll spend a lot of time with, then also being in the Westshore Marina District could be a good fit because you're a pretty close drive, relatively speaking, to some of those areas in Pinellas County. It's really a great location. You're still pretty close to Tampa International Airport, downtown Tampa, the east side of South Tampa, so Bayshore Boulevard and Hyde Park, and then Davis Island, Harbor Island. You're really still within about 15 minutes or so from all those locations. Again, the Westshore Marina District has their own shops, has their own restaurants, but if you feel like you want to go outside of the area, you're still within about 15 or so minutes from probably most, if not all, that you would need to do. Again, whether you want to go to downtown Tampa or Hyde Park or Davis Island, Harbor Island, they're still relatively close by. So all the dining, shopping, arts, entertainment, sports, you name it, are all available. And also being in the district, you've got access pretty close by to some of the big roadways and some of the major highways that makes commuting pretty conducive as well. So overall, it's a great location and definitely a pro for residents to enjoy. All right, that'll do it for today's video as we detailed the pros and the cons of living in the Westshore Marina District in South Tampa. I hope you enjoyed and got some great value from today's video. As always, let me know in comments if you have any questions, comments, or feedback. And also be sure to check out my Westshore Marina District neighborhood vlog if you haven't already. That way you have an even better understanding of what life is like in the district. Whether you're looking to buy or sell in 10 days or 10 weeks, please reach out. All of my contact information is in the description box below. I would love to help you win in the Tampa luxury condo market. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.